coming down to the 16th pole. Catholic Boy is pulling away. He's so impressive today, the others didn't even have a prayer. Catholic Boy rolls in the run. Happy Travers.
Live from the backstretch at historic Saratoga Racecourse, this is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow. Racing Across America is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The Leah Auto Group. To search their inventory, schedule a service appointment, or find a dealership near you, visit leahcars.com. Leah Cars for life. And Woodbine Racetrack. Pick, bet, and cheer on world-class horse racing north of the border.
Good morning. Welcome to Racing Across America on a beautiful Saratoga morning. We are live in front of Clare Court. Sun is shining. Temperatures very comfortable. Should be a good morning and afternoon. The Hall of Fame induction ceremonies get underway in about a half an hour. If you're thinking about that, you have plenty of time, even if you have a longer drive than a half an hour, because with the pillars that are being inducted, I expect the ceremony will last quite a while. And I expect also standing room only. So if you're getting there late, you may have to take a shot out in the backyard and watch it on TV, but they certainly have a good class this morning heading in. Typically over on the front side on Hall of Fame days, there are some autograph sessions, so you can maybe get some autographs from some Hall of Famers later today. And don't forget the legends, the jockey legends later this weekend. Bring up the autograph book because you'll be able to fill it up over the next few days up here at Saratoga. All right, today's show, Anna Seitz from Fasig-Tipton with the sale coming up next week. Thought we'd hit on some of that and give you a little preview. Bob Bromagen will also join us. He's part of Ashbrook Farm. They own Concrete Rose, but Bo picked the horse out at the sale, so we'll get a little aspect there as well, tying that into sales week coming up. But top of the show, hey, it's our friend Acacia Courtney, who's in Saratoga for the entire season. Good morning.
Hey, Seth, how are you? Nice to be here. It's been great to be in Saratoga all summer. It's been very busy. I can't believe we're in week 4 already. It's Whitney weekend. It's just going really fast, but it's been awesome. So nice getting to see you in person instead of over the phone like we usually do.
Yeah, exactly. Usually you're talking to you Gulfstream Championship season via the phone. That's the fun of Saratoga, though. Everybody a golf cart ride away. We've had you live up here previous seasons where you've made more stops and starts at the meet. So this is your first season in here for the entire season, correct?
Yes.
How's it working out so far?
Yes, it's been great. I'm part of the Saratoga Live team, so really a huge honor and very exciting to be joining the team this year as paddock reporter and analyst. So I've been covering a lot of ground, but we have a tremendous team that get to work with, and of course a lot of support from Fox Sports and MSG Networks, and it's been really special to be able to cover the best racing and be up here all summer. So it's been a lot of fun.
How you like being a regular?
It's cool.
Do you have like the buddies? Oh, you're going to be in town the whole time. Let me couch surf a little bit. Let me come up for a couple days.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's funny because still some people come up to me in the paddock and they're like, "Are you here the whole time? When are you going back to Gulfstream?" You know, so I have a really wonderful schedule and a lot of great support from everybody. So great to be here, and then Gulfstream Championship meet this winter.
An envious schedule for
yes,
many of us.
Yes.
Bouncing since the warm weather, the winter time, and up here at Saratoga. Talk a little bit about the Fox Sports MSG experience so far for you, because the show is now, I'm amazed hearing the guys talking kind of at Belmont and then at the beginning of Saratoga, reminiscing, oh, we were there for that. It's like 4 or 5 years that's been going on and expanding every year. I've congratulated the NYRA folks on the programming because I think it helps pull new people into the sport. When you have 3 hours every day on MSG and Fox Sports, there's the potential there to hit a whole new audience. They do a great job. Talk a little bit about being part of that team.
It's been great, and as you said, we get a chance to bring some new audiences in, and the coverage has expanded a lot. In fact, this summer, regularly we will do shows from 1 to 6:30 or however late the races go. So we try to bring you pretty much all of the races, of course, with other programming this weekend. We have a shorter show for Whitney, but we'll be covering the bigger events and being able to do some features, some special interests, and getting a chance to really get to know the connections. That's a big thing of what I do, is I do a lot of the interviews and bring those people that make this racing possible, give them a chance to talk about their horses, and for bettors, give them some more information through those interviews and through the analysis, and for people that are maybe a little bit new to the sport to get to know the people behind the horses as well.
Getting some good feedback from people on the front side?
Yes, it really, I really appreciate all of the people that let me interview them and chase them down on a regular basis, and I think it really is about the relationships as well. But big thank you to everybody that's been so supportive of me and joining the team this year. It's been a blast, and like I said, very special to be part of such a great group of people.
Yeah, I know, as you alluded to, we're in the studio most of the year talking to people by phone, but it's fun to come up here for those of us here on OTB TV to be on the front side, because a lot of people, hey, love the show the rest of the year, so you get a lot of great feedback. I'm sure it's the same for the Fox MSG show. And as you say, one of the things I like about being here is I'll get the trainers in for a 15 or 20 minute extended, and you can do a little, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into the game, et cetera, et cetera. And that's the nice part about some of the features you do too. It introduces people. It's not just, hey, your horse won, tell us a little bit about that, but you can get a little background and spend a little more time. And I think that helps draw people into the game too.
That's something I feel really strongly about, something I've done a lot of at Gulfstream as well, doing those feature videos, and the production staff here at NYRA does a fantastic job with that. And we have some great stuff coming up this weekend for Whitney weekend, obviously, but those are the stories, those are the things that kind of pull at the heartstrings a little bit, and it brings a little bit more of the human element back into the sport and back into the game. And we're all here for the horses, but there's a lot of people behind every horse that make it possible.
Yeah, and also people behind the scenes at the show. I should let you mention that as well, because I was down at Andy's radio show last night at the Partingas, and Lafitte Pinkai was there. Lafitte Pinkai the third said his dad's going to be in town though for Legends. That'll be fun. But he and Andy were kind of tipping their cap to some of the producers who were in the back of the room and talking about, you mentioned it when you sat down here today, their production meetings every morning. Andy and Lafitte said they'll be getting emails the middle of the night with rundowns for the next day.
Run down at like 1 a.m. getting ready for today.
There's a lot that goes into the show that I think people just don't realize, and so that is also kind of a tip of the cap to folks too. Yeah,
absolutely, and there's a lot of prep work for each of us, and we have, I think, two of the greatest hosts in the game too, and Lafitte and Greg Wolf kind of piloting the show, Maggie and I as reporters, and then a really excellent team of analysts, and Tommy was the trainer, Gary as Gary Stevens, Hall of Fame jockey, of course. So just people that bring such a unique perspective, and it really is, like I said, an honor to be working with all of them. And you learn something every day with just your teammates and your colleagues and all of the people behind the scenes, again, that make it possible.
Got to be fit too, because with a 3-hour show, you guys are back and forth from the paddock to the winner's circle all afternoon long.
Well, on Saturday I do pretty much the whole card, and Maggie warned me about it coming up to this, and I think I did about 13,000 steps on Jim Jam each day. I checked my phone afterwards, and I've been covering a lot of ground.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Since we have you in here, I mentioned when I get trainers in, I'll ask them, but I'll ask you as well. We've talked about it before, but I'll remind people who may be new. How'd you get into the game? How'd you become a fan of horse racing?
It really started for me with ex-race horses. When I was 17, my mom and I started a nonprofit called Racing for Home. You can check out our website, shameless plug, racingforhomeinc.com. So you can check that out. We have 9 ex-race horses in our program currently, and they're all thoroughbreds. Some of them never raced, some of them have injuries, some of them just didn't want to race and maybe never made anything on the track, but that's really how I started to learn about horses. My mom is a really talented horsewoman, so I got a chance to see injuries, to see the strains of retraining firsthand, and that really helped me when transitioning into racing. So when I got involved in OTTBs, I felt very inadequate, not knowing anything about where they came from. So I started learning a little bit about racing, and first time I ever picked up a racing form was in the Suffolk Downs track kitchen. And then I just got swept up into it, and here I am, and it's been amazing, because it was just Saratoga 4 years ago that I had my very first on-air job with Horse Racing Radio Network. So it's been a crazy 4 years, and I'm just really grateful to everybody that's given me a chance.
Yeah, that's right. You were with Mike and Michelle doing some of the Horse Racing Radio Network. A lot of good folks have worked with them. And tipped my cap to Mike earlier this year. Mike won the Sovereign Award last year for coverage, for his coverage last year.
I got to be part of the Queen's Plate with
it's
them.
great.
Yeah, really
so
wonderful.
It was fun to see them pick up the trophy last year. All right, let's jump in and get some ideas over the next couple of days, because we do have some very nice racing coming up, and let's get some of your ideas. We were talking before we went on the air. Hall of Fame today, I think, is an interesting race. I love the subdivision of the 3-year-olds on the turf, and we get a couple of shots at that over the weekend. But today is the Hall of Fame. I said on the handicapping show earlier, Casa Creed for Lee Einsiedler and Company and Bill Mott. Interesting to me, just the numbers seem to indicate this horse, who has been a player in this division throughout the year, but maybe getting better, might be primed for a good effort. But I said, you know what, I could have flipped a coin, though. I put Casa Creed on top, but Moon Colony, I think getting back to the mile of the Penn Mile 2-back will be beneficial to that one. So I went 5, 8, 7, and 3. Could have flipped a coin on the top two, but I'm going to tilt slightly for Casa Creed. What are your thoughts? And I will say, as we talk here, I'm going to pull up the Manila from July 4th, and we'll watch. Casa Creed will be the number 5 horse in here, a very close-up third. Win wins it. Fog of War second. Casa Creed, again, the number 5 third. That's the way I'm tilting, but your thoughts?
Well, Casa Creed's just faced really good competition. I mean, you look back, I remember the Palm Beach, that grade 3 back in March at Gulfstream. A Thread of Blue is a speed horse, and Casa Creed trying to come from farther off the pace. I think that this is a horse, as you said, that's starting to get a little bit better. That tactical running style that he showed in the Kitten's Joy, I think that's probably his most potent running style. And we saw that last time in the Milla, and I think Win was just sharp. He was primed that day, but it was a good performance from Casa Creed. I like him in here too. I think that the numbers fit. I actually like another horse coming out of a 1.25 mile race in English B. I think that he's really going to be primed coming in today for Grand Motion, and he's kind of had some up and down races, but I can forgive Grade 1 Belmont Derby going 1.25 miles, probably not his best distance, obviously super tough competition. The Jimmy Murphy, I thought was a huge performance from him. I loved him that day. I was hoping to get even a little bit bigger price than he was. Maybe number-wise, he's a little bit lesser, but I think he's one that's on the upswing, and I think Javier Castellano is going to be a good fit for him.
And I said, I put him at the bottom of my mix, and I said, you also have to pay attention. When barns get hot, that's something that and Graham had a great day yesterday.
Yes, he did, absolutely. And King Zachary having that prep on the turf and then coming back and running on the dirt last time, I think he just really got what he wanted to do all along.
Yeah, in the turn, you knew this one's over, as he went by with such ease and ran away. I said earlier, it was one of those 20/20 hindsight. He had the class last year. You know, he had a decent run in the Travers last year, and this year you maybe could have made an excuse for the last couple. The turf experiment that he came in with, and a little overmatched maybe in the Stephen Foster, but he fit nicely yesterday, and had Graham on the show on Wednesday, and he was saying, you know, I think he's going to like 1.5 miles, 1 mile and 5/8, and the 1 3/4 yesterday. Clearly hit him right between the eyes.
Clearly, record-setting fashion. Very, very impressive.
I should ask you, speaking of record-setting performances, what did you think of the weekend? Well, first we see Imperial Hint, you're like, wow, and then Sunday it's like, double wow.
Double wow.
Yeah,
double wow. Well, it's funny because I spoke to trainer Jorge Navarro earlier in the day. He had Zulu running on the undercard, and I spoke to him asking about Chancelot, and we wrapped up the interview, and Lafitte Pinkai was hosting that show, and we all just said, he could not be any more confident about this horse. And obviously his first 2 races had been uber impressive. His last win by open lengths. And Navarro even said he had to step up and face that competition that day. But basically it was like, let me pick my jaw up off the floor when he was done. And as far as Imperial Hint, it's just such a great story. He had probably even looked better last year, which is scary to see how good he was on the track. He loves Saratoga, thrives up here. Hats off to Louis Carvajal, who's done just a phenomenal job with him.
Yeah, we had Louis Carvajal in the next day, and you could tell he was. It's great to see guys like that win.
Yes.
You know, his first Grade 1 win the year before in the same race with Imperial Hint. First win up here, and then he strings a couple together, and we played both races. And yeah, this year was a track record performance, but the 2 races this year and last year looked like this. It looked like we were replaying the same thing, other than the finishing time.
And I think this has been the story too, because he's such a small horse, but he really is just like a pocket rocket. Yeah. He's got so much talent, so much speed, and he's been really fun to watch.
Yeah. So that. Again, the weekend produced a couple of races that certainly will be among the top 3 or 4 we'll watch up here all summer. We'll see if we got some more of those coming up this weekend. Let's take a look at the test annually. One of my favorite races up here, the 3-year-old fillies sprinting. I've liked Covfefe right along. I'm going to use Covfefe on top. I have Royal Charlotte underneath, but I had Mike Welch in yesterday, and we were talking about this, and he said, you know, Covfefe and Serengeti Empress might hook up. What will that set things up? The one that potentially will benefit is Bellafina. I'm going to take a look at the Santa Anita Oaks for Bellafina. She's going to be the number 5 horse in here as we watch on the replay. That was a couple starts back. Obviously, the 5th in the Kentucky Oaks, not as good a performance as they were hoping, or the betting public making that one the 9-5 choice in the Kentucky Oaks. But again, 2 starts back gets it done in the Santa Anita Oaks, and maybe a stalk and pounce off the speedsters. The 7 furlongs is the question mark, though, is with Covfefe. But boy, that race 2 back, the Miss Preakness was just so impressive. I'm going to stick with Covfefe, but what are your thoughts?
I don't mind the distance for her. I know that Bellafina has won at 7/8, but I actually prefer her going a little bit longer than what she's going to get tomorrow. I like Covfefe stretching out slightly. I think that's okay. I think that her natural speed will carry her. I think maybe she just regressed a little bit last time out after such a huge effort. It's also important to note that I was there on that Miss Preakness day. It was a very, very warm day. Maybe she just had such a huge performance, regressed just slightly. Still a solid effort behind Mia Mischief last time out. She didn't really have everything her own way as she had in the Miss Preakness, and this I think is going to be the biggest test for her. I think she's an incredibly talented filly. I really like her in here as well. Serengeti Empress, the turnback, she's really done nothing wrong. She was beat by Guarana, who's just came back to win Coaching Club American Oaks and another Grade 1 as well. I have the utmost respect for her and the job that Tom Amos has done for her. If Royal Charlotte's able to close, though, she, I think, would be the one that might benefit the most because she had that really good run at 6.5 furlongs at Belmont last time.
Yeah, it's a fun race, and as I say, one of my favorite races of the year. The 7 furlongs really defines some of these runners. I think it'll be a good addition Saturday afternoon.
And I am going to use Jeltrin underneath.
Okay.
I am. I think she's going to be a big price. I think that she's going to get a good
You'll
trip.
definitely get a price.
Yes, she'll definitely get a price. But she's shown up in some big races. She's been 3rd in the Mother Goose and the Acorn in her last couple of starts, and she'll just immediately get written off. But Luis Sai is aboard. I think that he's going to be very smart about what's going to happen with the pace.
He's having a nice meet, too. Let's move on to the Whitney, get some thoughts there. The highlight of the weekend, Grade 1 event, $1 million up for grabs. And I saw you recording some interviews at the draw the other night. I think the draw nicely summed up the first couple of weeks of weather here at Saratoga. As they got off the draw, and the weather was okay for a while, and then the draw ended, and like a minute later, monsoon.
Yes, so I was interviewing Jimmy Bell, president of Godolphin Racing USA, about thundersnow, and we were one question in, and then it started pouring on us, and so we were like, let's step under the covered part and restart this, but we got the draw out of the way and got everything done. Everybody was a good sport.
Like
but,
I say, it was a microcosm of the weather so far. Up here, where there have been a couple of days where you're thinking, oh, it's beautiful, and then all of a sudden there's a 10-minute kind of, and things clear out again. But I will say, this weekend is looking beautiful, and as people can see back here, today is gorgeous. All right, the Whitney, mile and an eighth, $1 million up for grabs. I just could not get by McKinsey, and I think that's the one to beat from Bob Baffert. Ran second to Matoli last time in the Met Mile. We watched that replay yesterday, so we got to look at McKinsey running second, Thunder Snow running third. Today I wanted to pull up the Suburban. Preservationist is going to be the number 2 horse here. And it was just a breakout performance for the Jimmy Jerkins trainee. They were originally thinking Woodward. Jimmy said last night, he was on with Andy on the radio show, he said the horse is just doing so well. And given the horse's propensity to maybe go the wrong way, Jimmy said overnight you can have a horse that's going great, and then the next day, well, he's feeling good right now, so they're going to strike while the iron is hot. And clearly, this was a nice performance in the Suburban. I have Preservationist right underneath, McKinsey on top. For me, 6, 8, 4, and 5. What are your thoughts on the Whitney?
Well, I know Preservationist has been a little bit of a tricky horse. The connection's very open about that. He's a 6-year-old horse that's only raced 5 times, and he's been a little bit hard to keep at the racetrack for the most part. So, as Jimmy said, strike while the iron is hot. He's doing great. He's had 2 races since coming back off of that freshening. May, July, Suburban win. He's really shown up. He's stamped himself as a big contender, and he's a very big horse. And so I think that he's one of these horses that's really gotten better with age. So it's great to see that he's still in training as a 6-year-old because he's really doing what I believe is his best running now. He's got a good running style. My question with McKinsey is, maybe it's just because I actually really liked him in the Breeders' Cup Classic and things just didn't go his way and we never got to see him even run a step that day. I know that he's going to be so heavily bet, especially with Mike Smith coming in. And looking at this, immediately I see a favorite like this and try to say, how can I beat him? But you've got Bob Baffert again. Bob Baffert, Mike Smith shipping in. Usually that's a little bit of a tough formula to beat. I landed on Thunder Snow. He's a world traveler. He's obviously done well for himself. He's won the Dubai World Cup twice. As far as his value, I can't really think what more they would have to add. So the decision to bring him here for the Whitney, still racing as a 5-year-old, he's really just been so impressive, and he's been able to travel in a mature way and carry his racetrack with him. Like him getting back to this distance, he ran solidly in at the mile in the Met Mile, which I don't think was what he really preferred. He seems to be training really well here in the morning, so I'm going to take a shot with him.
Christophe Soumillon in to ride, and certainly off that third place in the Met, and they said they were looking for the Whitney. And yeah, I think they're looking to add an American Grade 1 on the resume, and that'll just kick the resume up a little more. But as you say, certainly it's been impressive so far. After the kooky Kentucky Derby, but he certainly put that in the rearview mirror.
Right, I know. You think back, and it almost doesn't even seem like the same horse that was crow hopping out of the starting gate, just totally bewildered by the whole thing. So he's really grown and come into his own, which has been fun to follow. And again, it's another horse that seems to be doing his best running, even though he was precocious, seems to be doing his best running as a little bit of an older horse.
Before we let you go, just some thoughts on the weekend's 3-year-old action and what it bodes for the Travers upcoming tax in the Jim Dandy, highest honors in the Curlin. Endorsed, I thought ran well, running second in the Curlin, and Tacitus, of course, with the stumble at the start in the Jim Dandy. What your take on the weekend 3-year-old races last week?
Well, I think that Tax had the absolute perfect ride by Irad Ortiz, and I think that really just made a huge difference. A fantastic ride, horse was ready to run, and Irad rode him like that, and a beautiful, brilliant ride, and happy for the connections, obviously. Tacitus, I've been trying with him since the start, but I'm going to stick with him for the Travers. I still think that he's one to watch. Highest honors I liked going into the Curlin. I don't think you should discredit looking at bikinis either, though. Chad's other horse in that race, he was the beaten favorite. He's definitely, I think, going to be one to watch coming back now that he has that race under his belt. And highest honors, I do think, is definitely going to be a little bit of a horse that will be on the upswing. You say, well, he's just coming out of the Curlin, but I think that's a good prep. And Chad Brown never won the Travers. He says that's the one that's probably the most important, being a native from up here in the area of Saratoga from Mechanicville, probably the most important to add to the resume at this time.
Yeah, certainly we'll hope that Maximum Security shows up, and it has the potential to be that kingmaker kind of a Travers. And I'm assuming you got a chance to talk to Dean Reeves and Randy Hill after the tax. We had them in on Sunday.
Yes,
a lot of fun.
Probably one of my favorite post-race interviews so far. They were just so genuinely excited, and they're guys that have put so much into the game with effort and money and continuing to stick it through in some of the ups and downs that we all know this sport has. So great to see them get that greatest stakes victory.
Great to see you here at Saratoga and for the whole meet. Again, you can see Acacia on the Fox Sport MSG shows up here at Saratoga on a daily basis. As I say, great for the sport, not just New York racing, but the sport in general. You do a great job.
Thank you.
Happy to have you over here this morning.
Thanks
we'll talk
so much,
again.
Seth. All right, thank you. Good to see you as always.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Bo Bromagen will join us. Again, he picked out of the sale Concrete Rose. We'll touch on her in the race this afternoon and also some of her background. All of that right after this. Stay tuned.
You like free money? Well, Capital OTB gives its players plenty of opportunities to cash in. At Capital OTB, there are so many ways for horse players to receive bonus dollars by simply participating in promotions such as our bankrolls, bounty bets, online handicapping contests, and much, much more. Plus, with Capital OTB's Player Rewards program, you get actual cash back. So what are you waiting for? Log on today at CapitalOTB.com or CapitalOTBBet.com and claim your free money.
Welcome back to Racing Across America on this Friday morning. As promised before the break, joined now by Bob Bromagen, part of the Ashbrook farm team, but also Bloodstock agent who picked Concrete Rose out of the sale. We'll touch on a little bit of that. Bo, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
How excited are you for this afternoon?
Incredibly exciting. It's, it's such a big atmosphere here. I just couldn't be happier.
Let's talk a little bit about it because I was reading and looking at some interviews, and I think we have a little video of that Concrete Rose workout before the sale. That was last May of 2018. You signed the ticket for $61,000 and wind up with a horse like her. And part of it, you've said you were stationed a little bit differently. I guess most people maybe a 16th up the stretch, but you were kind of closer to the finish line, and you liked the way she finished out, maybe picked out something that other people missed.
Yeah, as she was coming down the lane, her head was kind of cocked. She was staring at the grandstands a little bit, and I was past the wire, and so as she came past me, there was nothing to look at, and she just settled into her rhythm and started rolling.
And talk a little bit about what the process is that led up to that. You're looking at her, and you get the catalog and parse horses out. How did you move to look at her workout and then put in the ticket at the sale?
Well, everything at the sale for us is, it's primarily a function of price. We don't have an unlimited budget, so I've got to go in there and kind of identify the prospects that a lot of people are going to overlook for whatever reason, whether their head was cocked during the work, a variety of things. But I work with a great group of people that really kind of, as a team, we get all the information that's available, and we can kind of sort out the ones that we like most.
And so when you go to a sale, you have the catalog. Are you ticking off the pedigrees you like, and then you go from there?
No, I work so closely with Rusty that there are certain pedigrees or sires that he not necessarily prefers, but yeah, Rusty Arnold.
Had him on yesterday.
And so I try and work with him on what he likes. So Twirling Candy, he had Morticia coming up at the time, and so it was an easy fit for him.
Take us through the Belmont Oaks last time. We're going to take a look at the replay here. This is going back to July 6th. Concrete Rose is the number 4 horse. First race in this Triple Tiara series that continues this afternoon with the Saratoga Oaks. She's going to be the number 4 horse, and wins by a 2 3/4 lengths. Just makes it look easy here in the stretch. What were your feelings Belmont Oaks Day?
Well, watching the race live, you could see that Newspaper Record caused a little bit of problems for a lot of horses in the backstretch and into the first turn. And we were lucky enough to be in front of all that. So coming around the turn, it's set up perfectly for us to kind of accelerate down the stretch. In a grade 1 with that kind of money on the line, it's thrilling to say the least.
Extra thrilling when 16th of a mile out, you kind of feel like, oh, okay,
yeah,
we're good here.
It doesn't happen often. I'll take him when I can get him.
I want to go back because, again, you picked the horse out of the sale, so I want to go back to the Maiden Breaker, which was right up here last year. And Rusty said, he's got the horses he keeps back in Kentucky, and then he parses out and decides which ones will come up here. And he said shortly before he came up here, it just became apparent that Concrete Rose was going to be one of the ones coming up here. She's going to be the number 2 horse here. Again, this is the career debut right here at Saratoga last year. 5.5 furlongs on the turf. Again, she's the number 2 horse. Give us your feelings because, again, you've picked her out of the sale. You got her for a relatively modest $61,000.
Right.
Talk a little bit. Man, look at her come here. Talk a little bit about this career debut.
Again, she's green coming through this race. I think that a lot of what she did today, or in this particular race, was just on pure talent alone. Handicapping the race beforehand, there were some pretty nice horses that you paid a lot of money for. Yeah, exactly. Any kind of maiden race at Saratoga, you're going to run against some stiff competition. So we thought she'd run well. I didn't know that she was going to do that, and I don't think Rusty knew that was going to happen either. But as soon as you see that and she accelerates down the stretch, you knew we were sitting on something.
How special is it for you, being one of the ones who picked her out of the sale, and again for $61,000 to wind up with a runner like this, 5 for 6, and vying this afternoon for $750,000? How special is it for you as she comes under the finish line? Obviously, it's great to be an owner and win, but as the guy who kind of picked her out, and again for a fairly modest price, how special does it feel to watch her win after win?
Obviously, it's very special. I wish I could take more credit for what's happened, but it's the Rusty Arnold barn and the people that take care of her on a day-to-day basis. That's it's special for them because they're the ones who do it every single day, you know.
Talk a little bit about the ownership group. It's Ashbrook, it's BBN Racing. You're involved with the groups there.
Right.
Give a little shout out to the ownership group.
So Ashbrook is just our family operation. It's, you know, my parents and then my sister and my brother. And then BBN is a partnership that started up last year, actually. This Concrete Rose was one of the first horses that they bought in, and it's a lot of new owners. And so this is their first experience owning any kind of racehorse whatsoever. So,
Easy game.
Yeah, right. Let's just do this every time. But their enthusiasm is just it's contagious. It makes everything as fun as it can possibly be, and so I'm just glad to have those guys on board.
And am I correct? One of the BBN guys was a Skidmore grad.
Yeah,
Nice.
the primary.
Yeah,
he actually
nice.
owned a bar while he was in college here, so that's.
Nice.
So yeah, he's great.
You know which one?
His name is Brian Klasky.
No, which bar?
I don't know the bar.
Oh, because I wonder if I have frequented
I believe
as a local resident.
High probability.
It's a possibility. Yes. That's interesting, and again, it's fun. And talk a little bit about how much fun your family's having with the horse.
Yeah, my sister moved to Chicago. My brother's got his own things going on. So anytime she's running a big race like this, it's a good, easy excuse to get everybody in the same room and have a shared experience with something like this. So it's been great as far as just the overall things that you can do with a good horse.
I guess it's obvious, the family connection, but talk a little bit about how you got into the game, became a fan of horse racing, and then how you transitioned over to the Bloodstock side of the game.
Well, Rusty Arnold had been training horses for my dad since I want to say the early 80s. I'm not sure exactly when, but I've got win pictures on my wall where my mom is holding me as a baby and Rusty Arnold has a full head of hair. So the relationship dates back as far as it could. When I graduated college, David and Gordo had bought a horse called Wicked Style for my dad, and we went into Keeneland, won the Breeders' Futurity, and I realized then that I wanted to be in horse racing in one form or another. After the Breeders' Cup up at Monmouth, I started walking hots for Rusty that following Monday. I don't think my talents lied in the training side of things, so after a couple different things, I kind of transitioned into Bloodstock, working for David and Gordo, and kind of fell in love with it.
Do you like it? Because what I love about the game is the handicapping. To me, as a kid, I love those brain teaser kind of things.
Yeah.
And to me, these are adult brain teasers. You have 9 or 10 brain teasers a day, and the bonus, if you're right, you get paid. And is the Bloodstock agent kind of side of the game, is that kind of a similar, you're kind of sussing out and trying to figure out?
Obviously you're trying to find diamonds in the rough, so to speak. So you take this large amount of information and try and weed through it in whatever way or method that you use to find the best thing that you can. And obviously, like you say, when it works out, the reward is substantial.
I've talked to other people here who participate in the sales and gotten their perspectives. We've looked at a workout. Obviously, at the 2-year-old sales, that's important. The page with the breeding is important, relying on other people's opinions and whatnot. But I've talked to people also, and if folks go over this weekend and kind of walk around the sales grounds, you'll see it a lot. They walk the horses out and walk them around.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of comments from folks I've talked to that you like to, just as you're walking around, you like the horses that their head's out of the stall and they're looking around. You like them alert. You're looking for a certain level of intelligence that bodes well.
Just the presence, I think, is kind of what it is. They just show that they can handle whatever situation that they're in. Somebody told me that the good horses go through these stressful situations and they start to, you can just see it, that's where they thrive. And so you'd love it if every horse you bought was like that. But, sometimes it's just, you just get lucky with this.
You play the pinhooking side of the game?
Yeah, not as, the market has been tight at the top end, so those margins are getting,
Yeah.
But yeah, we do that too as well.
Will you participate up here?
Yes, we're live here. No, it's going to, like I say, it's going to come down to a function of price. This is going to be a tough sale to buy one out of. It's going to be strong.
Both sales, do you participate in the New York bred sale as well?
That Kentucky money is so good down there, and Rusty training there. We kind of primarily focus on Kentucky breds, but this New York bred sale, there's going to be some runners coming out of there too.
So you've been over looking at some horses already?
Yeah, trying to get over there as much as possible. We've got a lot of stuff going on the next 2 days, so I'm gonna try and spend as much time over there as possible.
Well, take us through a day of a bloodstock agent up here. You don't have to tip your hand as to specifically what you may be looking at,
right.
but what do you do up here as far as prepping for the 2 nights of the sales?
Well, the catalog page has a lot of information on there, but it doesn't tell the whole story of the family, right? So there, you might see that a horse finished second or something like that, or third last time out, but it doesn't. I work with a group of people that we find the information. Well, this horse had a bad trip; it's going to come out there and win next time out, or whatever you're looking for is whatever angle you can find to try and come up with values. Essentially, what we're doing here, but it all comes down to the horse. You're trying to buy an individual. You want the athletes, the horses that you think can go on and win races.
How many horses will you look at?
As many as I can, like all of them if I could, yeah. But that's where you find them. The more you look at, the better you get, and the more options you have.
Which types of sales do you prefer? The yearling sales or the 2-year-old sales?
Again, it comes down to just trying to find whatever you can, whenever you can. And we've had some success at both. She came in of a 2-year-old sale, so right now I'm loving those. But
I guess again for the 61,000, I guess you would love those. You guys play the claiming game at all, or you?
No, not really. That's just haven't been a focus of our kind of business model. Yeah.
Again, Concrete Rose this afternoon. Certainly looking forward to that. And I heard an interview with you, and it was kind of funny because it was going back to the Belmont Oaks, where again there were some Europeans in there, and they're back today with Aidan O'Brien. You paid $61,000, and you walk in the winner's circle and look over, and you've beaten a couple of Aidan O'Brien horses. That's got to be a
well, it's, the New York Yankees of horse racing. These guys have been in it for a long time, and they're just strong, whatever they do. So coming out on the top, in one race it's just satisfying. So hopefully we can do it again.
Yeah, looking forward to the race this afternoon. A nice field of 6. Again, it just seems like she's and the only blemish was the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly Turf, and I'm assuming you probably are on the same page as Rusty. You thought the surface just wasn't to her liking.
Yeah, but nothing. Not to take away from newspaper record, that day I don't think anybody was beating her. That real horse, just a tough situation. She was as good as anybody that time.
Yeah, that race though for Concrete Rose looks like a little bit of an aberration. She's coming. I didn't ask Rusty. I'll ask you. What was the game plan starting at Tampa? Was that just calendar and there was the opportunity?
Yeah, we were kind of working out a plan like how we were going to move forward with her. Originally, we thought we'd give her some time after the Breeders' Cup, but she came out of that so well that Rusty decided he wanted to go on with it. And so that was the first race of the year that really we thought that we could go in there and then move on to the Edgewood as the next stop.
And just give me a little idea. You had the win up here with her last year, and obviously this will be a nice stakes win with her. But what's it feel like as an owner to win up here at Saratoga?
Like I said, the history is not lost on you. This is, you taking a horse into the paddock alone is quite an experience. So if you can get your picture taken here at a track like this, then yeah, it's as good as anything there is.
And clearly you've been around the country at various venues following your horses and whatnot. Just compare Saratoga to some of the other venues. And most importantly, what I say to all the people, the comment on, to me, it's more outside the fence of the racetrack that makes this place special, because you go downtown and people are talking about the Daily Double yesterday and whatnot.
Absolutely.
And people are just so plugged in up here.
And it's a highly educated betting public. Actually, a friend of mine, their Uber driver gave her Kelsey's Cross in our race. He said, "That's the only place. That's where you got to bet. That's where you got to bet." And I'm like, well, they know what they're talking about here in town. So it's just the entire town is a great experience. The track itself is obviously just fantastic, but like you said, it's the entire community gets behind it. It's great.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and wish you a lot of luck this afternoon. Saratoga Oaks, Concrete Rose, 5 for 6 so far in the career. Hopes to continue in this Triple Tiara series in the Saratoga Oaks. I just think she's phenomenal. I used her on top. The Euros happened to me as maybe the one that's a little bit of a question mark, and as they say, it's O'Brien, Tabor, and Magnier. But
yeah, those guys know what they're doing. Yeah,
she's just Concrete Rose just looks so good. I think she's the one to beat. And certainly wish you a lot of of luck.
Yeah,
not only
thank you
today,
very
but
much.
going forward as
I
well.
appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
Bo Bromagen, again, part of that Ashbrook BBN racing team that owns Concrete Rose, but also picked her up at the sale for $61,000. So she's going to be fun to watch this afternoon. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Anna Seitz, Fasig-Tipton. We'll get some preview of the sale coming up next week and more right after this. Stay tuned.
Looking for a fantastic meal? Stop by Malcolm's, a unique farm-to-table restaurant experience. Located at 617 Union Street in Schenectady, Malcolm's offers locally grown fresh foods, mouth-watering flavors, an enhanced drink menu, and terrific service. Malcolm's is a sure bet during Saratoga season. Make your reservation today.
In a recent study of some of the top online wagering sites, Capital OTB won big in total player rewards, far surpassing some of the best-known wagering sites in America. While other rewards programs simply offer you points redeemable for gift cards, Capital OTB's rebates are paid to you in actual cash. Plus, Capital OTB gives you full and immediate access to your money. So if all you're getting now are points and gift cards, join Capital OTB Player Rewards today and get cash back. Visit CapitalOTBBet.com and sign up today.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Welcome back to Racing Across America. We are waiting on Anna Seitz from Fasig-Tipton. Actually, I think she was shooting for 10:45, so we still have a couple of minutes, and I'm sure a busy morning on the sales grounds with the sales coming up. So we'll plug her in as soon as she arrives. And in the meantime, I pulled up past performances from the weekend just because there's some nice races coming up worth knowing about. Obviously, all eyes on Saratoga with a great stakes weekend up here, but out at Del Mar on Saturday, the Yellow Ribbon, typically one of their more important races, and certainly some familiar names in there. Yellow Ribbon is for the older fillies and mares, going a mile and a 16th on the grass. Grade 2 event, couple $100,000. Field of 9. LC's World in here. That was a former Chad Brown trainee, but now on the West Coast, racing for Richard Balthus. Won the Santa Ana a couple of starts back, then tossed in a fourth last time behind Basilica. That one's back in. The Southern California Wind Machine. This horse, 17 wins, 32 career starts, 4 second-place finishes, so 21 exacta finishes with 17 wins in 32 starts. Couple of wins in 3 starts over the Del Mar surface. You look down Basilica's PPs. What are we looking at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12 races on the page. Only one of those isn't a win, so clearly in very, very good form with some good experience over the Del Mar surface as well. So Basilica, 7-5 on the morning line, probably legitimately so. As I say, LC's World is interesting to me off the race 2 back. Toinette, also interesting off a win last time at Santa Anita, although that was last October, so that's a little bit of a question mark. Valedictorian has a little bit of talent, coming off a nice stakes win at Monmouth, shipping in for Kelly Breen, and that they elected to take this spot. Bo Recall comes in for Brad Cox off a second-place finish to Rushing Fall last time in just a game down at Belmont. So I suppose if, once you get past Basilica, Bo Recall would be the way you might tilt in that race for either the underneath spot or the alternative. But coming up on Saturday, race 8 at Del Mar is the Yellow Ribbon. Also wanted to alert you to the West Virginia Derby. That's tomorrow at Mountaineer. There is $500,000 up for grabs for the 3-year-olds going 9 furlongs at Mountaineer. The horse is going to take the action as Mr. Money for Brett Calhoun. Comes off of a win in the Indiana Derby, comes off of a win in the Matt Winn, comes off of a win in the Pat Day Mile. So 3 straight nice stakes wins leading into this. A really good bullet workout over at Churchill, 46 and change. So the money is going to go to Mr. Money, clearly. But Bouquet Parfait is also in here, the winner of the UAE Derby over in Dubai earlier this year. The 2 subsequent races, the Derby and the Belmont, maybe not as promising, but this horse might be able to bounce back in and amongst this group. Chess Chief goes out for Dallas Stewart off a 4th place finish behind Mr. Money in the Indiana Derby. Ran 3rd. Math Wizard is in here as well for Safi Joseph. 2nd in the Ohio Derby 2-back, and then the 3rd in the Indiana Derby last time. That may be where people tilt underneath. Although Kelly Rubley has top-line growth. Lightly raced and 2nd in the Iowa Derby last time at Prairie Meadows, although elevated to the win on a DQ. Top-line growth is maybe a little bit of a question mark, but that's an interesting alternative as well. But again, in that Mountaineer Park, West Virginia Derby tomorrow, that's their race number 8. Mr. Money likely to take the action and probably the most likely winner as well. And I think I asked the guys if they could pull it up because I've talked about it a couple of times. Yeah, I've been told we are ready. So we'll run it with the audio, correct? Yes? Yeah. Okay, so I'll just let you take a look. Last weekend, Enable, she's just phenomenal, and it's a ding-dong battle down the stretch. So I'll step back and let you watch last week's big race over in England with Enable in a super ding-dong battle. So take it away.
Cheval Grand along with Salouen and Mirando as they emerge out of Swinley Bottom and now racing inside the final 6, just passing the 6 furlong marker, and Norway is serving up a strong gallop, followed by Magic Wand in 2nd place. On the outside in the pink colours is Hunting Horn, Anthony Van Dyke then the inside of Crystal Ocean. Enable is still well back behind Valgeist, followed by Defoe, Cheval Grand, and then Salouen and Mirando is being ridden along to Little Aval at the back of the field, heading on towards the 4 furlong marker. They are well strung out. It's looked a punishing pace being set by Norway, who will surely come back to them in the straight. In 2nd, Magic Wand, Hunting Horn, then Crystal Ocean in 4th, Valgeist, and then after Valgeist on the outside is Enable, beginning to pick up 1 or 2 scalps as they run into the home straight, and Norway drifting off the inside. It's closed down by Crystal Ocean. Enable making rapid progress down the outside. Crystal Ocean goes on, but Enable is quick to challenge. Then Hunting Horn and Valgeist. Enable on the outside of Crystal Ocean, and these 2 are kicking away from Valgeist in 3rd, racing on towards the final furlong. And what a battle between them. Enable near side. Crystal Ocean will not give in on the far side. They go head to head, toe to toe. She's just in front of Enable, racing up towards the line, and she'll win a 2nd King George. What a race! That was a horse race. Crystal Ocean edged out 2nd, Valgeist 3rd, Salouen running on possibly to take 4th, ahead of Hunting Horn.
Where's the best place to find your favorite teams, your favorite food, daily drink specials, and wagering on live horse racing? Legends Field Sports Bar, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Get your game on day or night with 75 flat-screen TVs, tournament-style pool tables, a private banquet room, and live horse racing. So if someone asks you, where's the best sports bar in the capital region? Tell them Legends Field Sports Bar, inside the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes. In front, but here comes High Chaparral. High Chaparral, the defending champ, to take it to Bob. These 2 arch rivals head to head with Joe Hart bearing down on them. It's going to be a 3-horse photo finish in the turn. Here's the wire. Photo finish.
What if there was a way to become a better horse player, to have a better knowledge of the game, to be more successful? What if there were a way to take what you've learned, what you know, and make better decisions, better choices? In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool. Race results and replays, past performances, and live streaming. Wagering from all your digital devices. Capital OTB. Become a better horse player.
Welcome back. Happy to be joined now by Anna Seitz, Fasig-Tipton, customer relations? Is that the title?
Client relations and PR manager.
Very good. Well, if you don't know, I don't know.
We do it all at Fasig-Tipton.
But we typically talk to Anna this time of year. Talk to you also down at Gulfstream this year before the sale down there, which was a
great sale.
Very successful.
We broke our own record, so that was good.
We had talked to Bob Baffert after the sale as well, and he was one of a number of prominent people taking a look at some of the horses in there. A couple of them, there was some spirited bidding, so it was a nice sale down there at Gulfstream in the winter. But clearly up here at Saratoga, just give us overall Fasig-Tipton and where the Saratoga sale fits in.
We're about to start with the Fasig-Tipton Festival of Racing here at the racetrack, so everyone's arriving into town today. Most of the yearlings shipped in yesterday. There's quite a buzz on the sales grounds because we had an unbelievable sale last year and a really, really nice catalog of yearlings this year. So we're ready to roll. We'll have a lot of buyers that will start looking at horses starting today, and then we'll all attend the races for the weekend. We sponsor several races, and we do the Best Turned Out Award, which is my favorite, where we recognize the groom that the horse looks the best. So for the Adirondack on Sunday and for the De La Rose tomorrow. So we just do a lot with the track, but also across the street at the sales ground. So
yeah, we were sitting here doing the early show during a commercial, and a jet went overhead. I said, "Man, it's going to land on the backstretch." And then we were talking. It's probably
sales time.
Sales time. They're all over at the
arriving at the private airport,
Saratoga County, and always a good crowd. Always the prominent people. Baffert, not unfamiliar over at the sale as well.
He's arriving. He arrived yesterday.
And I will tout people again and let you do it as well. Great facility. I mean, it was a great upgrade a few years ago, and the backyard now is beautiful, an open air bar. But I'll let you tout people who may be unfamiliar. I always say sales week is one of the most fun weeks because you can go to the races now on Sunday, and then you have Monday and Tuesday off, but wind up at the sales in the evening, particularly if you get a nice warm summer night. But it's fun for people because it's open to the public, and you go to the backyard there and watch
Anybody
maybe
walk
$1
in.
million yearling.
Absolutely. We just ask people not to sit in the pavilion because they're reserved for buyers and sellers because we don't have enough seats for everyone. But other than that, you can come have a cocktail, see and be seen. Monday night is absolutely packed every year because the city really embraces the sale, and it's fun. You know, it's like especially with the spirited bidding getting going, and there's no better place to be than at the Fasig-Tipton Sales Ground.
I've been a regular since, probably before your time. I remember the Spite and Dival back there.
Oh, we were just talking about that yesterday. I don't remember it, but we were just talking about it.
Before your time, but if for folks who don't remember, the backyard, there used to be just a house that during the meet, their living room kind of became a bar, a piano bar.
We need to bring that back.
It was kind of funky and unique.
Yeah, it's fun.
But it's beautiful back there now, and I will highly tout, again, people. And if people aren't familiar, you're 3 blocks from the racetrack.
Exactly. We're right across the street. I mean, 1 block if you walk out of the Union Avenue gate. We're 1 block away, and the sale also is online at Fasig-Tipton.com, and
catalog online as well.
Catalogs online, and it's Monday night at 6:30, and also Tuesday night is the select sale. So that's the first sale.
Should also note New York bred sale comes
Correct.
up
That's
as well.
next
which
weekend.
has become very popular.
Very, very
also.
popular.
Yeah.
And it starts, we pushed it a day later. So usually it's Saturday, Sunday. This year, for the first time, because we have so many New York breds and so many trainers that don't have time to get through them all, it's going to be Sunday, Monday. So next Sunday, Monday. So it's
nice.
the 11th and 12th, August 11th, 12th.
And again, you can show
come
up
to
and
that
watch
one. That one's not quite as crazy, so it's a little more relaxed. So it's good, especially if you're trying to shop. You know, if you're interested in buying New York bred, it's a great sale to shop and come and have some fun.
And New York breds, get with the program.
Get with the program. Get yourself a risky mischief that just won 2 days ago for Jeff Drown and Jeremiah Englehart, bought at the New York bred sale. So
it looked very good. Buy Into Mischief. There are some Into Mischiefs. Into Mischief on a little bit of a hot streak. Into Mischief, a sire I love for producing precocious runners, and just the last few days up here at Saratoga, that has proven true.
Absolutely, he has been hot.
First-time sires maybe to watch up here. I was noting Frosted and Run Happy, who obviously, if folks are watching the MSG Fox Sports broadcasts on the NYRA broadcast, you know a lot about Run Happy, and now they're showing up. They're finally showing up,
and they look good too. So they should sell well. And Master Smack has been a great supporter of him, and
Talk a little bit about some of the recent grads. You were mentioning as we sat down, there were some notables.
Oh yeah, we were just had an exciting graduate last weekend air at Ellis Park, Dennis's Moment for the Allball family and Dale Romans. It's a Saratoga grad and won by 19 lengths or 17 lengths. So it was very, very exciting, and everybody was buzzing about this horse and the breeders. A young guy that bred him and his wife, Jeff Nixon and Brandy. So it was pretty cool to see, you know, just the whole process of someone coming to Saratoga, selling a nice one, and then winning like that. So it's a great sale to buy. You know, Rushing Fall, that we all know, who's done very well in New York.
On the front of the catalog.
Yes, and we've got Stormy Liberal and Sippican Harbor, Lee Pecoy, a great New York owner. So it's a good sale to buy a lot of proven runners. I think we have half siblings to maybe 13 grade 1 winners. So, I mean, it is a stacked catalog full of pedigrees and very nice physically looking animals.
And I will say it's always fun to be over there. Again, you're invited, go out in the backyard.
Yeah, please come.
And it's just a relaxing summer evening. And as you say, most of the city, it seems, shows up on Monday night, and it's a lot of fun. But boy, when they start to get up and that bidding gets up to 750, 859, and then you go to the 7 figures, and the place becomes kind of electric, and it's just a lot of fun.
And it's so hard because it's a living animal that's a young animal, and everybody wants to cheer, but we try to be quiet because you can't help yourself sometimes. You know, I get it. It's pretty cool. It's a very, very unique setting.
And you can say, I was there when.
Yes.
I mean, American Pharoah.
American Pharoah went to the sales ring, exactly.
Which gives you a little cachet as a racing fan, and maybe point to the catalog from years past and say, oh yeah, I was there.
I saw
that
him
night.
as a yearling. Yeah, exactly.
It's clearly a lot of fun, and again, the regular sale is Monday and Tuesday.
Monday and Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Open to the public and online, and then the New York Bred sale is next Sunday and Monday, the August 10th and 11th, or 11th, 12th. Sorry.
Very good. And anything else we should hit on?
Just come on over, establish credit with us, and then bid and keep on bidding. So make sure you establish credit. No fake bidding, please.
Bid and keep on bidding. I like that. And at times I have been in the pavilion, and I always refrain from, if I have an itch on my head,
like,
I do not itch.
That's what everyone said. I accidentally waved at my friend, and I said, our auctioneers and our bid spotters are pretty good. They usually know, but sometimes they'll mess with their friends, and they'll act like they're taking their bid, and they're not really. So we do ask people to be cautious of not raising your hand and try to bid on $1 million yearling if you're not serious.
Exactly. So as I say, no scratching of my head when I'm in there. Although, as you know, that's
it always, when you can't do it, your nose always itches. Yeah.
A lot of fun Monday and Tuesday. Swing by and catch the sale. Again, it's up East Avenue, as you say, a block from that Union Avenue entrance to the racetrack. It's always a lot of fun, and you guys will have, as you noted, a presence on the racetrack over the next few days as well.
Starting today.
So people will be able to say hello to you
yes,
also.
Absolutely. I'll be all over. We're doing trophy presentations, and we're doing the jockey signing, and so yeah, please come say hi. I love meeting all of our clients.
And also, typically, if the form or the blood horse, somebody over the next couple of days will put out an article, TDN, of some of the hips to watch.
Exactly.
And if folks want to get, because I will admit, I look in the catalog, and having been around the game as much as I have, I see all that black type, and it's like, oh, they're all fabulous.
Yeah. Well, that is this is a
they are.
Sale, yes.
But these articles will point out, here are the ones that are probably going to attract the most attention, and so it makes it a little more fun to watch. So you can look for some of those articles around there. Anna, appreciate the visit,
Thank you so
as
much,
always.
Seth.
Wishing you and everybody at Fasig-Tipton a very successful sales week.
Thank you. Please come on over.
I'm always over there,
Great.
So I will definitely be there.
Great, thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, We're going to wrap things up for Racing Across America for a Friday morning. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, handicapper support at 9. Brian Edo will be in at 10 a.m. for a big Whitney Day broadcast in the morning. Tomorrow afternoon, Anthony Mormino has the bankroll. Check in for those cut-ins during the afternoon. Don't forget today the bounty bet. Play the late pick 5 at Saratoga. With your Capital OTB bet account, you have a shot at that bounty, which is over $2,000. That's today, the late pick 5 here at Saratoga with your Capital OTB bet account. All right, I'm going to wrap things up for Racing Across America. Thanks for joining us this morning. We'll see you tomorrow.
You've been watching Racing Across America with Seth Merrow. Racing Across America has been brought to you by CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today. Pannell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The Leah Auto Group. To search their inventory, schedule a service appointment, or find a dealership near you, visit leahcars.com. Leah Cars for life. Woodbine Racetrack. Pick, bet, and cheer on world-class horse racing north of the border. And the new Capital OTB mobile app. Wager anytime, anywhere. Download it free from the iTunes Store or Google Play.